The world faces strong heavy rains and floods in different regions, leaving many people affected. Experts point to climate change as the main driver for the adverse weather. In France, the far-right National Rally Party won the first round of the snap elections with 34.2% of the votes in the 2024 legislative polls. Centrist Macron and the Left coalition have called to block the path to power. Palestine Israeli occupation forces continue their genocidal actions against Gaza, killing and wounding dozens in the last hours. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The U.S. National Hurricane Center reported Monday that Hurricane Beryl upgraded to Category 4 after a brief debilitation, posing as a dangerous threat to the Lesser Antilles in the Caribbean with strong winds, heavy rains, and storm surge. The agency indicated that the cyclone's maximum sustained winds are near 215 kilometers per hour with stronger gusts. In the next few hours, the phenomenon is expected to remain a dangerous major hurricane as its core moves through the Windward Islands to the eastern Caribbean. Potentially catastrophic wind damage is expected on Monday in impacted areas with the greatest risk from the core being forecast for the St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada. In Mexico, the center of Tropical Storm Chris made landfall in the vicinity of the town of Lechuguillas, municipality of Vega de la Torre, Veracruz, at 22:50 hours local time. June 30th, Chris has maximum winds of 65 kilometers an hour and gushes of 85 kilometers an hour, accompanied by heavy rain and intense thunderstorms in the center and south of Nuevo León, and very heavy rains with winds of 70 to 90 kilometers per hour in the south of Tamaulipas. Communities in Veracruz, Puebla, Hidalgo, San Luis Potosí, and Querétaro are experiencing increased rainfall on Sunday as Tropical Storm Chris, which recently formed in the Bay of Campeche, advances through Mexico. Salvador authorities reported this weekend that they evacuated 45 people in San Alejo, La Unión, and another undetermined number of inhabitants of El Tránsito, San Miguel, due to the rains that are affecting. The fire department also reported that the water level in El Jocotal Lagoon affected homes in neighboring communities, while flood-prone areas in Colonia, Santa Lucia, Ilopango, and San Salvador were monitored. The press secretary of the presidency declared that institutions that are part of the National Sewer Protection System remain deployed throughout the country, providing assistance in any type of emergency caused by the storms. Also in Honduras, heavy rains have caused floods and landslides across the nation as the country stays in vigilance of Hurricane Beryl's trajectory. According to rescue teams, due to rainfall on Saturday, landslides and rock falls were reported, which damaged more than 20 houses. The most impacted areas have been the departments of Copan, Ocotopeque, Lempira, Intibuca, La Paz, Francisco Morazán, Valle, and Choluteca. In this context, authorities extended until Sunday afternoon the state of red alert due to the saturation of the soils and the danger of landslides, and urged citizens to take precautions on alternative routes while they work to reestablish security and normality in the affected areas. Meanwhile, in Europe, heavy rains have hit towns in Switzerland and France, leaving at least 5 dead and 1 person missing. Authorities report that the loss of lives was due to landslides and downed trees caused by gusts during the storm. In this regard, civil defense teams recommended evacuating residents of the Swiss towns of Braton, Sornico, and Valle Maglia, where rescue teams are still looking for a missing person. Meanwhile, in China, heavy rainfall affected over 811,000 residents and forced almost 200,000 to evacuate as authorities reported the Yangtze River and other 19 province rivers surpassed warning levels, noting their flows continue to rise. In response, the leaders of 8 cities in Anhui ordered the deployment of several emergency teams as well as 26,000 people to guard the region's dams and dikes. Meanwhile, the Central Meteorological Observatory of China warned that downpours will be present throughout the weekend and part of Monday and requested the suspension of classes, meetings and business activities in the affected regions. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. For the stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back. The month-long LGBTQ+ Pride celebration reached its grand finale on Sunday as rainbow revelers took to the streets of New York to participate in one of the most prominent parades. The varied celebration served as both a celebration of joy and political protest as participants recognized the community's achievements while also calling attention to recent anti-LGBTQ+ legislation, such as the ban on transgender healthcare passed by Republican-led states. In addition to NYC's Pride March, the largest in the country, the city was also expected to host Sunday's Queer Liberation March, an activist-focused event that was launched 5 years ago over concerns that the month's conventional parade had become too corporate. In Bolivia, President Luis Arce rejects self-coup narrative promoted by the fascist right wing. The president stressed on Sunday that what happened in the country on June 26 was a failed coup d'etat and asked former President Evo Morales not to replicate the narrative of fascism, which not only denies it but insists it was a self-coup planned by the government. On Sunday morning, during statements to a local radio station, Evo Morales, who had vehemently condemned the failed coup d'etat, admitted that he is confused about the coup. Despite this, he blamed Arce for committing a self-coup. After his criteria, the Minister of the Presidency, Maria Anela Prada, made statements to the media and said that Evo Morales ended up joining the story of the coup of General Zúñiga's and the fascist right wing, denying the Gorlilazo. The President of Argentina, Javier Milei, defended this Sunday the bill to lower the age of criminal responsibility to 13 years old that the government sent to Congress last Friday. The bill sets the minimum age for criminal prosecution at 13, establishes sentences of up to 20 years of imprisonment for children and adolescents who would be incarcerated in special establishments or separate sections within the penitentiary complexes. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Justice explained in a statement that the initiative seeks to combat the persistent growth of juvenile criminality, pointing out that organized crime takes advantage of children and adolescents to commit crimes without restrictions, evading in that way criminal responsibility. The Venezuelan Foreign Minister Iván Gil categorically rejected the statement issued on June 30 by Argentinian President Javier Milei, where he ignored the attempted coup d'etat in Bolivia, further feeding the narrative created by the Latin American right wing, which tries to deny the actions of criminals who try to overthrow the legitimate president Luis Arce. In a statement posted on social media X, Gil stated, "This dark neo-Nazi character is used as a pawn of macabre interest that try to impose fascism as a political trend in our region through the ridiculous spokesmanship inflated by lies spread through social media and the complicit media." The foreign minister added that Venezuela reiterates the call to condemn this and any other coup d'etat attempt in our Latin America, as was done unanimously by the South American countries, including by the Argentina itself, a fact that unfortunately is not unknown by those who claim to govern this country. The National Electoral Council of Venezuela extended on Sunday the voting hours until 7 o'clock. A total of 1,174 voting centers throughout the country opened their doors at 8 a.m. local time to begin the day of familiarization and training with the voting system. The people registered in the electoral registry may participate participated in any voting center. The only requirement was to present the identity card. In this regard, the president of the National Electoral Council, Elvis Amoroso, stated that this is a demonstration of the country's democratic strength to the world. Within the democratic electoral exercise, the president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, addressed the population through his social media X. On said post, President Maduro expressed it was beautiful to see people turning in large numbers to polling stations all over the country. And on Sunday, Uruguay defined the presidential candidacies that will compete at the polls on October 27th. In this way, the former mayor of Canelones, Yamandu Orsi, won from the opposition coalition, the Broad Front, and quickly announced that his main rival, the head of the municipal government of Montevideo, Carolina Cose, will be his running mate. For the current ruling National Party, known as the Whites, Álvaro Delgado, the favorite of the outgoing president Lacalle, won very comfortably, while among his allies in the Colorado Party, Andrés Ojeda declared himself the winner. In total, around 36% of eligible voters participated in the process. And in France, the far-right National Rally Party won a victory in the first round of the legislative elections with 33.15% of the votes. For its part, the left-wing coalition of the New Popular Front obtained 27.99%, establishing itself as the second largest political force, surpassing President Emmanuel Macron's party, which collected 20.04% of the votes. During this first round, 37 deputies of the National Rally, 32 of the New Popular Front, 2 of the Macronist bloc, and 3 of the Republicans and their allies were elected. In the second round to be held next Sunday, Marine Le Pen's National Rally and its associates will contest 485 constituencies out of 577. Also in France, leaders of the left-wing coalition New Popular Front called for unity in the face of the second round of the legislative elections this coming weekend in order to avoid the advance of the far-right. In this sense, the leader of the France Insoumise party, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, was clear about the slogan of his coalition, declaring their intentions to hand not a single seat more to the extreme right. Mélenchon also indicated that the left will withdraw its candidate if he advances from third place to the second round in order to stop the right. The recently formed New Popular Front brings together left-wing and progressive forces such as the Socialist Party, France Insoumise, Communist Party, and the Ecologists. A large crowd gathered on Sunday at Paris' Place de la République, set off fireworks and chanted as part of a protest against the far-right National Rally Party, which gained a strong lead in projections for the first round of legislative elections. French President Emmanuel Macron called the election by surprise just 3 weeks ago and has now urged voters to unite against the far-right. Projections indicate that the National Rally has a strong chance of winning a majority in the lower house of parliament for the first time, which is nearly double the 18% it won in the first round in 2022. With another intense week of campaigning ahead before the decisive final vote next Sunday, the final outcome of the election remains uncertain. We have a fun short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. In Palestine, Israeli bombing raids on the Gaza Strip killed several people and wounded dozens. In this regard, Wafa news agency reported on Sunday the Israeli Air Force targeted a group of citizens in Al-Sabra neighborhood in the city of Gaza, killing several of them and injuring others. On the other hand, a civilian was killed and others were injured in a bombing in the city of Han Yunis. Attacks were also reported in Rafah and the Nusayrat refugee camp, as the death toll rose to 37,877 Palestinians after 9 months of genocidal war, in addition to around 86,000 people wounded. After 7 months of detainment, the Israeli Occupation Army released on Monday the director of Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza, Mohammed Abu Salmiya, along with 50 other Palestinians. In this regard, Mohammed Abu Salmiya, during a press conference, denounced the constant torture of prisoners, asserting that many of them were killed in their cells by Israeli agents. In the meantime, he also pointed out that the prisoners had lost about 30 kilograms of weight. Abu Salmiya was arrested on November 23rd during the first Israeli military operation at the Al-Shifa medical complex, the largest hospital in the Gaza Strip. The Ministry of Health of the Gaza Strip warned this Sunday that medical services will be suspended in the next 48 hours due to fuel shortages. The ministry stated that the threat is imminent despite all measures taken to save fuel. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has warned on several occasions of the danger of famine in the Gaza Strip due to the genocide of the Israeli occupation forces. According to Ghebreyesus, 1 in 5 Gazans suffer from extreme food shortages, and almost all Gazans face high levels of acute food insecurity. The United Nations Office for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women also reported that at least 557,000 women in the Gaza Strip are currently suffering from severe food insecurity. Iranian authorities confirmed on Sunday that secret agents of the Ministry of Intelligence arrested terrorists who were going to perpetrate attacks in the context of the presidential elections. In this regard, the Deputy Minister of the Interior for Security and Law Enforcement of Iran, Majid Mir-Hamadi, said that before the election, several terrorist agents who had been sent to carry out terrorist operations were arrested by secret agents of the intelligence portfolio. Minister Mir-Hamadi also stressed that anti-Iranian groups devised multiple strategies to disrupt the electoral process, claiming that its first strategy was to discourage voter participation by promoting an electoral ban. Now let's talk about the Copa America 2024, where on Sunday the Ecuadorian national team qualified for the quarterfinals after a 0-0 draw with Mexico in the closing match of Group B. After 99 minutes of play, the tricolor team celebrated its pass to the quarterfinals and made this match in Arizona, the last one for Mexico in the championship. Now the winning team will face Argentina this Thursday in Texas. And more on Copa America 2024. On Sunday, Venezuela beat Jamaica 3-0 in Texas and closed Group B as leader. By scoring the goals, Bello, Rondon and Ramirez moved the team to the next round. For the first time in its history, the Venezuelan national team advanced with full points after its previous victories against Ecuador and Mexico. La Vinotinto team avoided Argentina and will face Canada in the quarterfinals next Friday in Texas. In the other match, Ecuador and Argentina will face each other on Thursday. Precisely that match will determine Venezuela's opponent should it defeat the Canadian team. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.